There we go. All right, we're live. Excellent. Took me a little couple minutes to fix that, figure it out. But I'm Nathan. This is my expat lifestyle. It is about 12:01 Monday morning or midnight Sunday, depending on what way you want to look at it. First live stream, big celebration, woohoo! Awesome, awesome. Today I was kind of hoping to talk about Iloilo Philippines and how it kind of compares to just basically the Philippines in general in my experience. I'm sure I've got a lot more in the Philippines to kind of work with coming up in the near future. Currently, my plan is I'm going to leave here on December 15th, go up to Thailand, do 2 or 3 months in Thailand, then pop over to Bali, do about 2 months in Bali, and then come back to the Philippines. I'm really enamored with the Philippines. I actually like it a lot more than I thought I would. Especially, I kind of started when I first flew in. I flew into Cebu City, Philippines, and I kind of got an idea of what things were like from like the 3 days I was there, 3, 4 days I was there, and I wasn't digging on it so hard. So the place I had was right in between IT Plaza and Ayala Mall, which is kind of like both of these are well-known spots for the foreigners to go hang out in. But I was there and it was okay, but wasn't really that spectacular. Middle of the city, a lot of traffic, a lot of people, a lot of pollution. But when you'd walk into the IT park, it was a different world. So I would walk through the regular city to get to IT park, and you'd have the regular Philippines like corrugated steel roofing and the concrete block walls. A lot of the walls are actually, instead of sealing it, they use those vinyl signs you see in the States, like usually at gas stations and whatnot. And as soon as you walk in IT Park, you have your guards, you have the gateway. It's a completely different world, really modernized, really like new Western upscale. It was that really strong dichotomy right on the line of basically the perimeter of IT Park. And I'd walk to Ayala, and it was walking through regular Philippine city. But I kind of developed this idea with those 3 or 4 days of like, maybe the Philippines not for me. Then I went over and I went to Bohol, which is an island you can catch a ferry from Cebu City, and I hung out there for like half a day and went to right to Panalao. And basically, what I did for 2 weeks, I went 2 or 3 days all around the island, staying in a new spot because I didn't have transportation. So it was really great to go there because then I could walk multiple kilometers in each direction and kind of explore that little area without having to worry about the tricycle drivers or the other drivers. And I like that. It was super rural though. There wasn't enough Western amenities for me. I did have one spot I was staying at, really cool. It was under $20 a day on top of a bakery, so I could go walk downstairs, get my bread for like 5 cents a piece, have a couple pieces of bread, and with my morning water. And it was cool, and there was a lot of nature stuff, no doubt. But there was not enough Western amenities for me, and I tried to go to the city of Tagbilaran or whatever it's called, and too big, too dirty, too scary, too many people. My one instance, like the first day I was in there, I was walking around, and you got a lot of beggars and everything, which is not a problem. But those kids with the click clacks were going insane, so that was grating on my nerves. And I went to go eat at a little restaurant. Guy pressing his nose up against the window, just staring at me while I try to eat. It was very disturbing. So I left there. I said, all right, well, that's cool. That's cool. We'll go ahead and I'll go to Dumaguete, where I'd watched all the YouTubers from. I'd seen that as like a great stopping off point. That was the place to go to. So I said, perfect. That'll be my couple month stay or my month stay. I'll do a month there. If I like it, I'll stay longer. If I don't like it, I'll leave. because that's really one of the ways I do a lot of savings. So I'm a budget traveler, and I find if you stay for monthly stays and you can do a little market research in hotels and you stay for a couple months, you're really lowering your prices, not just by the rent, which is huge. It's a huge savings, but also because you find the little spots that are cheaper. You find the laundry place that's half the price of the first one. You find when you get there, you find the restaurants that are cheaper. You find uh, everything that's reasonably priced, And so I stayed there, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. I couldn't find a good monthly, so I was popping around to hotels quite a bit, probably for about 2, 3 weeks before I found a monthly. And I stayed there for about 2 months, and I liked it. It was cool, but without transportation, I probably wouldn't recommend it to people, to be honest, just because the city is like pretty polluted. It's super great restaurants, a lot of cool stuff going for it, and especially the little river walk or the oceanside walk. Super cool to go hang out. People there are real friendly. Lots of expats, lots and lots of expats. Real cool to talk to, real cool to make friends. And I enjoyed it, but without transportation, it was not a good place to live. Too much pollution, too much dirt. Just to even walk from the gym to my apartment, it was only, I don't know, maybe 2 kilometers, maybe a mile and a half tops. By the time I got to the gym, I'd already feel like coughing. My throat would be real scratchy. I'd be all stressed out from all the honking and everything when I would walk there. So I said, all right, cool, we're going to move on. I went up to Bacolod for a couple days, and it was cool there, but it was just transit stuff. It was just to get to the port. But I definitely wouldn't mind going back there and looking around. It seemed like a real cool city. Uh, then I got here to Iloilo City, and it was like it's a pretty stark contrast from all the other places I've been so far. And I found the little area. I did my research beforehand. So weeks before I go out, I try to watch YouTube videos. There wasn't much about Iloilo at the time. I try to go to Agoda, see what rentals are, where they're clustered up at different prices. I go on the map to kind of determine where the highest rated restaurants are, where the tourism spots are, the sightseeing stuff, and then get a general layout of the area in general, right? So I did all my little research beforehand. I came out here, and it was like very stark contrast to Dumaguete. The area I went to is like literally like an upscale American place, just filled with Filipinos, right? Really quality, really high quality restaurants, Western amenities, everything you could possibly want, and everything was kind of in that with that 15-minute city vibe going to it. And I'm going to do a whole video on what a 15-minute city is here eventually, but essentially everything is within a 15-minute walk of your home. And another reason I came here, I was getting real out of shape, and I wanted a place where I had a gym inside where I lived, so that way there was no. I couldn't talk myself out of going to the gym by just like, oh, I don't want to walk there. It's too late. It's too early. I want 24-hour access to a gym super close to me. So I found my condo here. Awesome, good gym. Probably should be going a little bit more than I am, but I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Last week I had friends visiting. I see Kevin's in the chat. I had Kevin and Jenna Lynn coming over, and I only got in like 1 or 2 workout days while they were here, but we did some good walk around, some good sightseeing stuff, so that was nice. But the mere fact that it was so Western and that it was very convenient, that 15-minute style, really had me looking at the Philippines in a different manner. Then as I started to explore the different areas, I realized like, oh, cool, it's still got a Filipino vibe, but it's a little calmer. The honking stresses me out. Like in Dumaguete, they're honking everywhere you go. At all hours, it's honking. There's roosters crowing all over the place. There's a lot going on. But here, it's a lot more peaceful, a lot more calm, even when you go out to the more Filipino areas. So as I started exploring, it's like, all right, well, it's cleaner. There's less air pollution. It's pretty awesome. And one of the things that also surprises me about here is the attention I receive. A lot of times it's off-putting in a way, because it's like I don't want a lot of attention most of the time. I'd rather just sit back quietly and observe people. But it's super nice. It's kind of more like a introverted or isolating kind of guy because it forces you to interact. It forces you to come out of your shell. In fact, I was going out doing some nightlife yesterday, filming some stuff. I want to do like 4 or 5 days of filming before I come out with a video for it. But as soon as I would walk in, it was the eyes were on me. People real friendly. It's not like an eye of like, who's this guy? You know, it's not that stranger danger kind of look. It's the, oh, this guy looks different than everyone else in here. And a lot of places I was going, I was the only foreigner. There was maybe one or two other ones. But it was that, oh, I wonder what this guy's story is. And a lot of people would come up to me and say, hi, where are you from? You know? And so super cool. And like I get that vibe everywhere here in Iloilo City to where wherever I go, it's like I'm somebody special, right? Like people want to say hello to me. People want to ask how I'm doing. And I had heard, I didn't really understand it until I had heard Mark Thornton say something about how in the States you're kind of invisible. And I didn't really understand it when he said it. Like I kind of got it, but I didn't get it until I got here. When I got here, I realized like I don't have to be invisible. Like it can be you can be somebody special. You can be outgoing, and it's not, you're not an inconvenience to anybody. You're not a pain in the butt. It's they want to get to know you. They want to say hi. They want to see what you're like as a person because you're not the norm for there, right? You're different, you know. And luckily for us, we had 40, 50 years of American movies painting guys who look like me pretty well. So I really like that about here. As opposed to Dumagetti, you're still, people still treat you nice. Don't get me wrong. Filipino folks are still nice over there, but here you're not special. There's so many foreigners everywhere. You're not special. And with Kevin and coming to visit me, Kevin and Jenna Lynn there, it kind of made me realize like I hadn't explored that much really. Like I'd explored a good amount of the city, but I hadn't really explored outside the city, and there were huge pockets of the city that I hadn't really gone to. I was going more point A to point B. So I'd learn about something like when I did the video with the fish market and the cooking. Then I literally just caught a taxi and went there, or I caught a trike and I went there. And it wasn't like a walk around for 8-10 miles like I had done in every city that I'd been to in different countries prior. So him leaving, I ended up going out and doing some more exploring, and I plan on doing a lot more. And then I'm starting to realize, he helped me realize that, there is a lot of nature stuff outside the city. So I've went on a little exploratory mission along the coastline. I plan on hitting up a lot more places. And just overall, like, really changed my outlook on the Philippines and how you don't really have to go like a native lifestyle. You can have very like a modern Western lifestyle here without having like to have it be full Western. Like you don't need a ton of foreigners there just to have Western style amenities. But so Iloilo overall has been really good. But before I get into the bad and the ugly, go ahead and read some of the comments here. Good to see too much time on my hands. 65, Kevin. Good to see you're still up. I know it's way past your bedtime, normal bedtime for me. We didn't get to Bacolod. How is it compared to Iloilo? Well, now see, I was only in Bacolod for like 3 days. So and one of those days I was exhausted. So I slept because the night before I left Dumagetti, there was a group of like 6 or 7 construction working guys, right? They do traveling work construction. So they got electricians, they got dudes who do everything, and they go from city to city, similar like guys that I used to work with and know back in the States. But they go from city to city and they go do construction. And I ended up talking with him, and I'd seen him walk into my apartment all the time, and they always said hello, but I was always running back and forth, and they would always show me what they were cooking up in like their little coal or wood fire with their pot outside. Usually it was chicken. So, I'm getting ready to leave. I got to leave the next day. So I got a bottle of Jameson. I maybe had maybe 3 or 4 shots out of it, maybe. And so I brought it over to their place, and I gave them a bunch of stuff I had too. I had like extra toilet paper, a bunch of extra stuff. There was some of the nicest guys I met there, like just chitty chatting, walking by. I was just going to give them everything I had left that I didn't want to take with me. And so they invited me to drink. So we got over there. We, talking, hanging out. It's like 6 guys that all live in like this one apartment, and they're working their butt off pretty regular. In fact, when I come back, I'll go to Cagayan de Oro and meet up with them. And they told me a couple spots in different places I should go to here. But I ended up drinking with them, and then, of course, once I start, I don't stop. So I went and bought another bottle, and we killed off about 2 bottles of Jameson, the fifths, and then maybe half a case of beer. And so the next day I was hurt. So one of the 3 days I ended up sleeping in Bacolod. But I liked it. I met up with a regular guy over there, and we did a bunch of the malls. It looked like same thing, very clean, very modern, not more sparsely populated. Like it's not as densely populated as Dumaguete. It seems like it's a little more spread out, but a bigger city, more skyscrapers, stuff like that. But overall, it was cool. Like I said, I want to go back and check it out for a longer period of time. 3 days wasn't really enough. But overall, I think Iloilo is probably better for what I want. A little bit more size, a little more exploratory stuff. Although I am seeing, I don't like the online dating. I don't like the websites or whatever. But I have been seeing there's a lot of ladies on Tinder over in Bacolod. So, whatever that might tell you. But, I mean, there's a lot everywhere you go. Dumaguete, I didn't really get any hits on the dating sites. Mostly like older women in their 30s that wanted to go out. But I'm not trying to date women in their 30s. Alejandro, there's 4 viewers. Hell yeah. What's up, guys? 5 now. Moving on up. First live stream. I'm super happy everyone's in here. Thanks for joining me, guys. Awesome. Kevin says, heading to Bohol tomorrow. Yep. Did you like it? Hopefully in Bohol, you're going to go see the actual main island. I didn't get to see any of that. I did send you a bunch of messages with those little spots to hit up. Definitely check out that snorkeling diving spot. From what I was reading, I met another foreigner there, foreigner lady who does like conservation and stuff. And she had said like they just preserved it. It was overran, but it's like back to fully normal, and they just opened it up back to people. It's like 5 months ago now at this point. But from what I was reading, you pretty much have to pay them like a couple $100, so one of them can go out there with you because the tides are a little bit strong, so they just want to look at you, make you safe, and gives you somebody local to talk to and clean information off of while you're there. And Alejandro says Bohol has a good feel to it. Yeah, I wish I would have gone out more on the main island. I did. I think I thoroughly explored Palau. I had a very thorough understanding of that little offshoot island, and it was cool. There was a beach that's super touristy. I think it's Alona Beach or Alona Beach. And that was cool because I had a spot. It was a little more expensive. It was like $35 a night. But it was literally one of those deals like walk right out and you're literally right, your toes are in the sand. But it was real touristy, so that means the prices were higher. And a lot of people walking back and forth, a lot of people, doing the massage, asking you to buy drinks or get massages every time you walk out the door. But literally outside of that island, it was like super cool local field. That's when I first discovered that they do cockfighting here. because I was sitting at this little Mexican restaurant. I forget what it's called, like something cantina. And I'm sitting there eating my tacos, and I'm talking with the girls working there. And I keep seeing all these dudes walk by holding their cocks. And I kept going, man, that's weird. Why do they keep taking these roosters out and walking them around? It's like they're taking them out for a walk like you would a dog, which is absurd. And eventually, like I seen them all go to the spot, and like they kept looking, like, oh, what's going on, you know? And finally, it kind of dawned on me, like, oh yeah, they do cockfights here, and they were doing like a little underground cockfighting because I see dudes come in and out with their roosters the whole time. So I realized that in the Philippines they do that. I still haven't been to one of the stadiums, but I want to go for sure. Not because it's right, but because when you're in a local culture, you adhere to it. You try to experience whatever they're doing, you know. But yeah, Bohol, I think would be cool to check out. I got Pine Low. I liked it. It was all right, but real villagey. Kevin says that was kind of strange to me too, having people stare at me like they did in Iloilo. Yeah, man, and it's not a bad stare at all. It's not a bad stare at all. It's a real cool stare. Like you're odd, but they don't. It's not that they hate you or they don't like you. It's just they want to know why you're there. That's one of the things I get every time I get. What's your name? Where are you from? Why are you here? And the why are you here is always the hardest to be like. Well, I live everywhere. I'm a perpetual traveler. I'm a nomad. So it's like, how do you kind of explain that to people who don't conceptualize that as like a thing people can do, you know? But it's not a bad stare. It's super cool. We got JC Golf. Yo, dude. Canada flag. Yo, dude. What up? Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Oh, too much time on my hands. 65. Hey, JC, tell Nate to do the golf courses in Iloilo. I will never do the golf courses. I used to play. So I was on this island called Diego Garcia. It's the world's most secure military installation, right? It's in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It's just south of the Maldives. And it's a super small island, maybe a couple miles from tip to tip. Maybe a little bit more than that. Big horseshoe shape. And they had this like little 9-hole golf course. Like it was coral. They did their best. You know, they really tried. It was cool to have that. And you could rent clubs for free as part of the military, right? And I have never been more angry or aggressive playing a sport than I've been at golf. Like I ended up chucking clubs. I think it's just because it's like such not an exhilarating or like physical sport, and you're just trying to get this little tiny ball in this little tiny hole. Like it would irk me when I would mess up to the point of like I just wanted to get out the frustration somehow. It's it's not like football or baseball or soccer where you're running and you're tackling and you're doing all sorts of stuff. You're getting it out that way. It's I'll do mini golf. It'll be good. Filipino Life with Jenna Lynn. Hello, Nate. Hello, Jenna Lynn. Thanks for coming and joining. Sad to see you and Kevin gone here from Iloilo. I hope you guys enjoy your adventure in Bohol. I'm sure it'll be amazing. Jenna Lynn says, I'm sorry for being late. It's okay. It's okay. I'm honored just to have you here at all. JC Golf says, Nate, you have an interest in golf. I'm a Canadian trying to see what's available close to the cities. Would love to see anything in your area. I'm definitely not going to be that guy. Sorry, JC Golf. But, there's I was in Thailand, and Thailand is very famous for the golf courses there. But, man, the expenses. If you're picking a retirement hobby, golf seems like it's one of the most expensive hobbies you can get into. You wouldn't really think it because it's like if you buy clubs, you should be good, right? But those fees for those courses are astronomical. I'll just keep my little hobby of YouTube videos, and you can keep your golf there. Hey, on your first live stream, yes, I'm excited. Kevin, when he was here, right after we did our live stream, said you have to set it up now. You have to schedule it early, get it going. So I did. So I picked. All right, well, it's 12 o'clock. It's midnight here. Well, now it's like midnight 30, but that'll be good. It'll be 11 for my peeps back at home. Should have a buddy in Texas in here. But I'm pretty excited. First live stream, and I appreciate you all for joining me. Thank you. Gonna do all the stuff you sent. The Labak River cruise, lots of fun lined up. Awesome. Yeah, definitely check it out. I hope I gave you some good spots there in Panalao. That Mexican restaurant, if you find that, it was a good little hole in the wall. Good food for what it was, JC Golf, you live in Cebu City at all? I'm starting to consider Iloilo as an option, following a few peeps in the area regarding rentals, lifestyle, things to do, sports related, and other good stuff. Yeah, actually, JC Golf, I was in Cebu City for how was I long there for? I was probably there for I don't know, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So it was no, Cebu City was 3-4 days, sorry. But yeah, it was cool, man. It's definitely a bigger city than Iloilo. For sure, it's a much bigger city. But with that, it has positives because there's more people, right? And there's more little areas to go to. But with that, there's a lot of negatives too, right? You got more traffic, you've got more pollution. Pollution for me is the big one. And it had a little, I feel safer here in Iloilo than I did in Cebu City. And, I don't think really anywhere in Philippines outside of Manila is going to be too dangerous, unless you're maybe a single female or a very weak man, and not weak, physically weak. You look like an easy mark, I don't think anything like that's really a problem. But I feel a lot safer in Iloilo. I walk around at night all the time. All the time I walk around at night here. Never any problems. And even outside the Mega World area where it's heavily patrolled, never any problems. I still get the looks I get because it's holy crap. Not only is it a foreigner, it's also a foreigner at nighttime. It's I'm an oddity. And Cebu City is cool, man. There's a lot to do. There's a lot going on. But I don't know. I really like Iloilo, man. I think I prefer it. But I think maybe I'll go back to Cebu City for a little bit, maybe spend a couple weeks there. But I don't know. It's too big of a city for my liking. I like cities, but I don't like them that big. Steve Moore says, hey, Nate, Kevin's buddy. Hey there, Steve. Happy to have you here. Glad to see Kevin brought you in. We're happy to have you here on my inaugural first live stream ever. Jenna Lynn says, now you know how I feel. Depending on the how you feel. Yeah, depending on what you're talking about. But, well, guess no call. JC Golf says, well, guess no golf content here. Not for everyone. All good. Yeah, bro. Like I said, the golf just makes me want to scream, bro. I could see why some people find it calming. And maybe if I was a big drinker, I noticed that with a lot of the guys that would play golf that were my buddies. They all love to have their beers while they golfed. So I think maybe that would help calm me down during it. Too much time on my hands. Kevin says, do you plan on going back to Gamaris Island soon? It's a shame we found that beach so late in the day. Yeah, bro. Actually, so I'm going with Vanessa. You remember her? We were hanging out on the walk there. She's actually lived there for a long time, and she's got family that is in a little area there. So she's going to take me there 2 weeks from now. We're going. And I plan on going back another time or two. I'm talking with a chick now that lives on there on the internet. So I might just go down there and see where she's at. I plan on going back several times. I still haven't had the mangoes there. Most delicious mangoes in the Philippines. How am I not going to try it? So I'm definitely going back there for sure. I'm also planning on checking out, they've got an area called San Joaquin. Or Joaquin. It's spelled like Joaquin, but San Joaquin or something. But apparently the beaches are pretty cool, crystal cool, clear water. They have good place for snorkeling, not really diving, but it's super not populated. It's like a real chill city. It's maybe like an hour away. Uh, Me and another guy, we hit up a bunch of the different cities along the way to there. But by the time we got there and we had done everything, we were like super exhausted because it was a lot of walking, a lot of stairs. So we ended up just driving back, and the weather wasn't really great for doing water activities. But I'm definitely going there. There's a couple areas northwest of the city that are supposed to have really good nature. I was talking with a chick, and she was saying like she used to go camping out there. So there's definitely a lot of areas I want to go to, and Gamaris is like the main one that I want to go do nature stuff in. So I plan on, I'm leaving. What I got another month, so December 15th. So I've got plenty of time to kind of explore. Once you guys left, once you and Jenna left, I realized like I hadn't really explored a lot in the 2 months I'd been here. It was I'd been to different sides of the cities, different little pockets of the cities, but I hadn't gotten out the city at all. And in the pockets, I hadn't really either. I got carried away with work and the gym and all that. So I'm trying to explore more. I'm trying to explore more for sure. But yeah, I do plan on going back to Camaris Island soon. And that's kind of one of those things. I'm starting now to compare Iloilo with the Dumaguete. And my experience in Dumaguete was, I lived in the center without transportation. So I was like, poop up a creek as far as getting to the nature. And a lot of times I'd have to pay a lot of money, relative, $10 just to go out to the nature that everyone else was enjoying because they own their own scooters and cars. Well, it's kind of the same here, really. It's you have to pay to go outside, but here they have a much larger and better organized jeepney system, including with the air conditioned jeepneys, which I rode in one. It was awesome. It was definitely like normally for the regular jeepneys, for like you tall guys and you big guys, I never recommend it. But the new aircon, yeah, it's for everyone, dude. I don't care how tall or how big you are. It's for you. The new jeepneys are quality, and it's still. I went maybe like 30-minute drive away. It was like 20 pesos. I think it's like 15 most places. But you can catch those buses outside the city much easier than you could in Dumaguete, and it's pretty much the same experience for me because I got to pay money to get outside, and then I got to worry about a ride back if I'm going to get gouged on the way back. So it's really really similar in that way to Dumaguete too. But once again, Iloilo's just a better experience for me in that way, to where I can go do naturey things, and it's easier, and I don't feel as much pressure to pay a ton of money in order to go ahead and see some nature stuff. Oh, gentlemen. Oh, I know how you feel by being stared at. Yeah. That's actually dead on. I do kind of equate it to being like a good looking chick. Because a lot of the looks I get when I'm walking through the malls or I'm walking down the street, it's that look of like, I want me some of that, that I get a lot of those looks. So it's like, yeah, I can kind of see that now. I understand how you feel now. And the women that I'd always hear say that back in the States, I don't feel bad for you at all. I don't feel bad for you all at all. It's awesome. Maybe if I had to deal with it every day for my entire life, it would get old, but I'm loving it right now. I'm loving people looking at me like I'm a handsome man, like I'm a big, sexy, handsome man. JC Golf says, so what's a typical day in the life of Nate in Elo like? All right, well, so I usually wake up around like 12 or 1 in the afternoon. About half the days of the week, my maid comes over, she cleans, she cooks for me breakfast. Then I'll have her take off when she's all done. Sometimes she'll cook me lunch before she leaves too. Then I usually mess around on the computer for a little bit. I'll do some YouTube editing or play around on some video games. Then I'll go out. I'll either go out into town and go walk around aimlessly, or I'll just stay right here and take care of whatever business I need, whether it be, sometimes when I first wake up, I also do my laundry, other little errands. But walk around for a little bit. Then I go to the gym. Then I usually go have dinner, and then I come back and I work on my computer from usually I get back in around 8:30, so I'm ready by like 9:30, and then I work until about 4 a.m. Then I fall asleep usually around 6, and then I do it all over again. But I've been taking more and more time off so I can go do more and more activities. Like I said, last night I went out and had a couple brewskis and checked out a bunch of the nightlife areas and kind of got an idea for it. But typical daily life in Iloilo is good, man. It's pretty easy. I hit up the pool here at the condo 2 to 3 days a week. I hit up the gym 2 to 3 days a week, although it should be probably 5 or 6 if I want to actually start doing it right. But the days are easy, man. A lot of times, like 2 or 3 days a week, I'll usually meet up with somebody for dinner too, whether it be my expat buddy or ladies that I know. We'll go out, we'll have something to eat and chit chat for the day. Usually that's on the days my maid doesn't come over, so I have time during the day when normal people are awake. Too much time on my hands. Kevin says, Bukhari Pine Forest was cool. Luis Pedro's restaurant was awesome. Could have stayed there for hours if they had served beer. Yeah, bro. That was brutal. I couldn't go with you, man. Like, it was just too early in the morning. It's hard to work until four in the morning and then leave 4 hours later, especially you got to do it all over again that night. But who knows? Maybe I'll check it out before I leave. I said there's supposed to be a bunch of cool spots up in those mountains, ton of them. JC Golf says the expats there are friendly. I've heard many times expats seem to ignore other expats and downright rude. Maybe they suss the girls gonna step over. Yeah, expats are fine, but yeah, like you're right, there is kind of that vibe of like in Dumageddon, it's not really like that, right? Because expats go there with the mentality of like they're gonna meet other expats and they're gonna hang out and make friends and be friends with other expats in the Philippines, right? Like that's the mentality a lot of the expats have. Whereas like the other places I've been, you always get the expat nod, right? Which is like, hey, you're like me, you get the little nod of like, oh, you're like me, I'm like you, all right, cool. But you get a lot more here in Iloilo and some of the other places I've been. You get a lot more dudes who are like they're there with their wives. They left the West. They don't want anything to do with the West anymore. They don't want to be really talking to any Westerners. They'd rather just kind of live their Filipino life, which is cool. But you get a lot of dudes like when you say hi to them, they're super pumped, super super pumped. Like I met a young guy, Nicholas. He was walking in the elevator and probably like 22 years old or something. And you could tell he was like super nervous. And he told me later that it was his first trip overseas. But I was, hey, how you doing? I started talking to him. He's like super excited to talk to another foreigner, especially when he asked me how long I'd been overseas for. And I told him like, oh, going on 2 years. And he was, oh man, I want that life, and he was super excited. And you get people like that all over the place, like especially where there's not so many. You'll get them and you'll see like their eyes light up and like, oh shoot, another foreigner. I wonder if this guy's cool or not. And you talk to him and you can kind of suss out, but you got to keep in mind, there's a lot of expats who are like, they're not cool people, man. Like there's some shady cats out there for sure, for sure. Like I kind of say a lot of the people who leave the United States, there's different categories of them for sure, for sure. But there's like the category of like mentally ill ones who aren't like just your standard depressed and they come over here, they realize they can live a different life, so they're undepressed. Like there's kind of the more schizophrenic or bipolar types who might turn out to be aggressive, or maybe they got cases of narcissism, to where they're running scams. Like I've had guys try to get me in on their businesses. One was like a crypto scam thing going on, but try to get me in on his crypto business where it was linked up to video game systems or whatever. Then there was other people who tried to get me in on real estate deals. No, I'm good. Like if I'm going to get real estate, I'm going to go through a lawyer and a local, not another foreigner. But outside of those, there's plenty of cool guys too. There's lots of guys they're just excited to be out. They're retired. They're trying to live their best life. They get themselves a beautiful young mate. They go out and they do whatever they want all the time, and they're just living a great life, man. It's a lot better than being back in the States where right now I think we're getting snow where I used to live. So why not be out here at the beach instead, or at least in 80-degree weather, walking around and living a great life on the cheap. But yeah, so to answer your question, you get a lot of them that'll want to ignore you, but you also get a lot that are like super cool. I haven't really met any ones that are rude, right? The rudeness, I haven't really seen that. I've seen some that like where they're obviously mentally ill in a bad way, not in a good way. So, but the rudeness, no, I don't see, man. I don't see it. But some want to ignore you, and that's cool, man. Some people like to be left alone. That's what they want. Steve Moore says, like seeing your city. Wow, that was a huge mall. Oh yeah, Steve. Thanks, bro. I got a video coming out on Tuesday where I explore something called Iloilo City proper, and it's a totally different vibe than Haro or Molo or where I'm at, Mega World, like that festive city, or even the SM Mall where that's at. Totally different vibe. I'm super pumped to have it out. The beginning portion is kind of me walking around and talking, showing you the roads. And then towards the end, I show some kind of the sightseeing stuff. So hopefully you like it. I appreciate the kind words there, Steve. That's awesome, bro. Hopefully I got a lot more to show you too. And then we'll show you the next city I'm in whenever I get there. Filipina Life with Jenna Lean says, you look super guapo. That's why they walk like sexy. Thank you, Jenna Lynn. I like to believe I'm guapo. And I do strike my poses quite excellently. Jenna Lynn says, no Coke Zero today. No Coke Zero today. It's just been water. I did have an iced tea with dinner. So I woke up. I had breakfast. I had a steak. I had steak and eggs, like a good solid 12 ounces of steak. I had a scrambled egg and some mashed potatoes and veggies. And that was like under $10. And then I wasn't going to eat, but then I realized, like, all right, I better eat something because I'm not going to leave at 12:30. I'm going to be talking. And I ended up finding a place relatively close that does like 2 good Australian burgers, 2 small servings of fries. And that was like right around $11. And then I got an iced tea. So it was like 13, 14. And then I got to keep a burger to have later tonight or tomorrow for breakfast / lunch. But no Coke Zeros today. I'll probably pick up more. It's bad for me, but I'm going to do it. Steve Moore says, I got a bridge I can sell you. Bro, these guys with their scams are hilarious, dude. And so I haven't really had any of it here, right? I've had some guys talk about like things they were doing, but they weren't like trying to get me in on it. But in Thailand, bro, it's like the area I was at was kind of next to, it would be like living next to Angeles City here in the Philippines. It was Pattaya. But where I was at it's like a town over, right? So it wasn't like that where I live, but it kind of was, but it wasn't. And the guys there, you get a lot of dudes drinking every day, doing cocaine, doing drugs, and getting wild with the ladies, right? You get a lot of guys doing that. And with that, you get a lot of the people doing their little scams and kind of workarounds and ways to like, a lot of guys who have these dreams, these big dreams, right? And I always loved it because you got plenty of dudes who own bars out there, right? But you get these guys who have grandiose ideas of like, I'm going to start a bar and it's going to be successful because it's me. Where in reality, it's like, no, you really, why? What's your experience? Oh, you don't have any besides your narcissistic thing of like you used to be a dishwasher. Cool. And then you ask, all right, how are you going to be different than the other 20 bars that just closed? And they can't. Oh, I'm going to market it better. Oh, okay, that's what all of them said too, right? So they come up with these great ideas, and then they're looking for investors because the people with the grandiose ideas, they've already done their other ideas. They've lost all their money, so now they need your money. So you'll come up with all these great pitches. And crypto, like I said, crypto was the funniest one, dude. Like I'm not I'm like I'm good with computers, but I'm not a computer savvy kind of guy. Uh, and you would get these guys, and they would show you these bank accounts where they got millions of dollars, and they're crypto geniuses and stuff. But then when you start digging into it, it's like, oh, it was invented by this guy, and they've done this many pump and dumps, and you kind of see that what they're talking about has probably made them a bunch of money because they're getting suckers like you and me in, but they're not going to get me in because I'm super cheap and I'm a cheap Charlie. So most of them realize that once they get to know me, they'll be like, man, this guy, why is he eating at all the cheap places? Why does he stay at the cheap place? Why? Because I'm not going to just be throwing my money around. I'm a 39-year-old guy who's living overseas. I don't have tons of money. I've got enough to live a very good life, but I'm not throwing away money, not money to throw away on silly ideas, JC Golf says steak and eggs, good fuel for the gym. Nothing wrong with bulking up. I'm in a state of 20 years of bulking, JC. 20 years of bulking. I've never stopped bulking. There was maybe a time. I take that back. There was 2 6 months periods in my life where I was drinking every night, so I wasn't eating, but I was still working out. Those were my trim times. But otherwise, I'm a bulky man. I'm a bulky man. Where the white women at, Nate? Where are the white women at? That's a good name and a good question. I've seen a couple around here walking around, and they're like the hippy dippy types. It's kind of funny to see them over at the islands too. Some really pretty kind of hippie chicks. But I'll tell you what, one of the best things I see when I'm traveling around, or one of the things that makes me laugh, is you'll see all these girls doing their little Instagram poses on the beach where they're doing like knees in the sand, and the photographers find the right angle. There was a place I was at in Mexico where you had trash being scooped up with like a mini bulldozer, right? It was like it's a four-wheeler with a plow on it. And just out of what they were shooting their little video, right? and like a bunch of shacks behind them. But since they had the water in the background, it looked like, oh my God, I'm so beautiful. Look at me. I love seeing it, bro. Like just these Instagram models doing their little photography on the beaches. It cracks me out, dude. And it's like, it's almost always white women. Although I will say I seen some black chicks when I was down in Mexico doing like the same thing, like the Instagram influencer, look how big my butt is, stuff. But it's usually where the white women are at, right? Doing the Instagram poses on the beach. Steve Moore says, you got to watch out for those guys saying they are making money doing options. Now, real talk, bro. Like I met a lot of dudes who do options and they do real good. I do a lot of option trading. I have like dividend holds, shares, certificates deposit, long-term holds. I do some swings, but I do a lot of options too. I do all right. I'm still new. I don't ever give advice. I don't even like talking about it too much because I am so new, and want to I don't want to involve somebody in a mistake for their life, right? Because I'm nobody to take advice from. To everyone out there, I'm just some random dude on the internet. As far as making money, don't try to follow me. Don't do what I do. Don't try to be like me. As far as like touring stuff, I'll show you what I'm seeing. I'll show you what I'm doing, you know, and you take it or leave it. I'm always going to be honest. I might be wrong, but I'll never lie. I've been wrong a lot in my life, but it'll never be intentional. As far as the traveling goes, follow along, but making money, I'm no one to follow. I do barely good enough. Too much time on my hands. Kevin says, did Bourbon Street get any buns? Really wanted to try the burger. It It's funny, even a big chain restaurant has its issues in the Philippines. I haven't been back there since. This was another joint, but dude, I have an interesting outlook on the being out of things because I've seen like a lot of dudes and a lot of chicks get real upset when they're told here in the Philippines, out of stock, out of service, and you encounter it everywhere. You know this, Kevin. You encounter it everywhere, but the way I look at it is like I'd rather them run out of stock than always have stock and have rotten food, right? Because if they always have stock, that means there's some things in there that's like going bad or they've been frozen for a super long time. And for a fact, your average Filipino place, your average Southeast Asian place, they're not going to throw it away. Like they can't lose that kind of money. Their margins aren't high enough to be throwing away food on waste. And they don't really have the government organizations to come in and make sure that the food is of like good quality and safe and healthy. So I look at it as a good thing. Like I like it when they tell me they're out of stock because I'm like, all right, well, at least I know whatever I do order is going to be fresh and good. But yeah, you missed out, dude. The Bourbon Street burgers are fire, bro. They are fire, no doubt. JC Golf. Any specific program you use for editing? I just started uploading shorts to get my hands dirty in the world. I want to buy a good editing program. Suggestions. JC Golf. You don't even have to buy one, right? So I use HitFilm Express. You can buy the pro version and pay a bunch of money in a monthly subscription. I'm not even using a tenth of the options so far. I'm still learning it. HitFilm is something like they've made major movies with, right? So you got Adobe, which is, I think a lot of the Marvel movies use that. And then you got HitFilm, which also like another large scale corporation that movie studios use. I use HitFilm Express. I don't pay anything. I also downloaded Canva, and then since I'm here, it's way cheaper, right? So the price in the United States was going to be like, well, like 40, $50 for a year. But here in the Philippines, it was only like 14. So I know a lot of these programs, so the prices for everything is different in these other countries. So your video games that are like $70 back in the States are going to be like $20, $40 here in the Philippines if you're ordering it online. Same thing with like a lot of your subscriptions, your Netflix subscription, your Twitch subscription, a lot of your subscriptions are substantially cheaper here. And most of the time, you have to have a Filipino bank or a foreign bank in order to gain access to those savings. Canva didn't do that. Canva read my IP address as being from the Philippines, and they charged me a Filipino price, which was sweet. So that's like a little tip or trick. Once you get yourself a foreign bank account, you start saving on those subscriptions, no doubt, no doubt. But yeah, I use HitFilm, and then for like thumbnails and like I made business cards and some stuff for stickers to get printed out. And Canva worked good for that. I know some guys they swear by Canva for everything, but I like HitFilm editing. It does a good job. Steve Morris, thanks. Was a joke about Kevin. Kevin loves a good joke, no doubt. So I wanted to get back Iloilo, right? So we've talked a lot about the good, right? There's tons good about it. I love it. It's great. The bad and the ugly. How do I say it gently? There's still people out here that would want to take advantage of you monetarily. There's still people that kind of see you as a utility, and in a way, the United States was kind of like that. I've always had this thing of like men are treated in the U.S. as human doings, and women are treated as human beings. Women are just allowed to kind of be themselves and be existent and have creativity and have all this just to be a human, right? They're valued just to be a human. Whereas men in the United States, in my opinion, were kind of just seen as human doings. What can you do for me? What can be done for me right away? What can you provide me right now? you'll still get that. Like, you saw in my avoiding ripoffs video, lots of people want to double charge you, but literally, like when they're scamming you, they're only trying to get like $5-10 out of you, and it's hard to keep in perception because it's a principle of the matter. Like, treat me good, treat me like a human, treat me like a person, treat me like a human being, right? Not a human doing. And even though it's only like an extra, maybe the trike rider is an extra 30-40 cents, right? It still gets to you because it's like, no, you're going to treat me like everyone else. You're going to treat me like a local, or I'm just not going to use your service. And I do that all the time, man. I had a guy last night. Yeah, last night I stopped a trike driver when I was going from the different nightclub area to the different nightclub area. And there was taxis right behind him, and I say, "Can you take me back to Mega World with 20 pesos?" And he said, 150 pesos? And I looked at him and said, "Oh, no, thanks." And I didn't cause a ruckus. I didn't get loud. I didn't get angry. I didn't even try to bargain with him. Because if you're going to hit me right up front with that, like, then all right, and you make zero. And I went to the taxi driver right behind him. I had an air conditioned taxi drive. Cost me, I think it was like 60, and I gave him a little bit extra. So it was like less than half, or yeah, less than half of what he wanted to charge. So like you get that everywhere, but it's different. It's different than in the States because here it's like all monetarily. Whereas there it was like people didn't even want to deal with you unless you could do something for them, right? Unless they had something to gain from you. Whereas here people will deal with you happily even if they know they won't gain anything. They're very upfront about it. Like, give me this money, and that's kind of what it's the monetary thing. It's not an attention thing. There's plenty of people who don't want anything to do with you. I was telling Kevin was here. I've went out with a lot of Filipino people and hung out with them, and they're paying for things, right? So I went out with a girl, and she was paying for dinner. She's paid for multiple dinners with me. I've hung out with a guy, and I've met a guy at one of the restaurants here. We ate. He didn't even insinuate I should pay for his stuff too. Uh, not that it was romantic, but a lot of times you get that if you go to poorer places too, they expect you to pay for them because you have it. I did go out the other night or last night, and I was drinking, so I was smoking cigarettes. And a guy hanging out talking, I handed him a cigarette and gave him a couple cigarettes, whatever, I don't care. But he saw me again later, and he tried to get me to pay his cover charge. And I just said, "Oh, no, thanks." It's that easy. All you have to do is say no. Like, nothing's gonna happen. Just tell him no. Oh, the options joke was about Kevin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That Kevin, he'll get you in trouble. No, he's doing good. He does. He taught me a couple things I didn't know about stocks because I do something completely different than he does. He was teaching me when we were in what was that Sikihar? I think we were at when you were telling me all about what you do. JC Golf Skin Tax, all part of it. Yeah, it is, bro. Like, but that's one of those things. It's like I try not to take it personal because like there is so much good that the whole skin thing does for you that it's hard to be upset by the skin tax, right? Because the mere fact that I'm this white guy walking in, I get a lot of good treatment too. So like with anything in life, there's good, there's bad, there's yin, there's yang, right? There's black, there's white. There's there's good things that goes along with it. It's just I don't know, it kind of gets my goat, man. It's like a principle of the matter. I think it's one of those cultural differences too of like the egalitarianism of the West and like you should treat somebody different just because of the way they look, which I can tell you absolute nonsense. When I was a cop, people treated me a lot different when I was 250 pounds of muscle as opposed to 185 pounds chubby, right? So people treat you a lot different depending on how you look, regardless. But it's the mentality, at least about race, that you don't treat people different based on race. But there's good, there's bad with it. I like the good so much, and I just tell them no with the skin tax. And if I've got to walk an extra 5 miles, so be it. I'll walk an extra 5 miles. You're not getting extra money from me. I'm stubborn. Collector's Dream says, love your channel. I came over as a subscriber from Too Much Time on My Hands 65 channel. Loving your videos as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Collector's Dream. I hope, I'm still kind of new, and I'm pretty sure if you've been going back in my videos, you can see kind of where it started and like how bad it was. And I think it's getting a little bit better every video. I hope that I'm making, my goal is to improve one thing every video and then stack it. So maybe by the time I'm on like video 100 or 200, I've got super high quality, engaging content that everyone loves. And I'm like giving people the information they need to be successful in their journey, and or entertaining them or showing them like what their life could be like or can be like, But thank you so much. It's very, very kind of you to say. Collector's Dream would love to hear more about the dating scene. Well, you're dating. You're actually in luck. So I've been going on dates here. I didn't really do anything in Dumageddon. So I went out with like one chick in Dumageddon right before I left, and because I just came from Thailand and I was kind of womaned out, like I'd had my fill, and I was kind of just keeping to myself all up until that point. But I got here and I started going out more, and I started getting the looks, and I started feeling like I should be approached more by more and more ladies. And I ended up filming like a couple of the first dates I was on, but I haven't published them. I haven't edited them. I haven't published them. I just kind of put them on my computer and put them in the back because I kind of wanted to see where things went in the dating world here. And I've had more and more experience. I'm opening up more. I'm starting to incorporate more of the internet dating. And I'm hoping in about 2 or 3 weeks to publish the first dating video where I kind of show the initial dates I was on and what the experience was like, and then start going more in depth about what dating was like. But to be honest, I kind of don't even want to publish them until I leave here. I do have romantic interests that watch my videos. But, I'm a single man. I always tell the women straight up. I tell every single one, I'm a temporary man. There's nothing permanent about me yet. Maybe in the future there'll be something permanent about me, but I just got to where I'm traveling. I saved up my money. I did my online job and stuff. Like, I finally got to where I'm traveling. I'm not going to get married. I'm not going to have kids yet. I want a couple years to roam around and find where I want to live and go be free, But Collector's Dream, there'll definitely be dating videos in the future. I've already got them saved. Too Much Time on My Hands says, we got to get up early for the ferry. Good first live stream. Keep it going. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate you staying up. I know this is way past your bedtime. It's 1 a.m. You should be definitely asleep by now. No doubt about that. But thank you so much for staying up. I appreciate you, brother. And safe travels tomorrow. I know you're going to love Palau. Hopefully you love Bohol. I can't wait to watch your videos about it. JC Golf says, I just like the thought that my moolah goes that much further in Southeast Asia. Bro, totally, dude. Like, I always tell people I've 10x'd my quality of life for half the price. There is zero chance I could get a place, a condo with a gym, 5 pools, next to a upscale mall, next to a whole nightlife area, 15 minutes walk from another mall, upscale, all clean, massive quantities of security. There's no way I could get it for that would cost me, and then this close to ocean too. That would cost me $3-4 grand just for this little place in the U.S. Whereas here, easy peasy, bro. And when I go more local, or when I go to different places, I'm paying even less, dude. Like I said, I'm very conscious with the money I spend, but it's severely difficult for me to spend more than $2,500. I splurge, and I can still not hit $2,000 a month, and that's me splurging, like going on trips, doing fun stuff, going out to dinner. I never cook for myself. I haven't cooked for myself in over 1.5 years. I never drive myself. I haven't driven myself in over a year and a half. So like I'm getting chauffeured everywhere. I basically got a cook. I got a maid that comes in. There's no way I'd be able to afford this lifestyle in the U.S. Zero chance. Zero chance. So I'm dead on with you, JC Golf. Like the money can go a lot further as long as you're smart with it and you don't let yourself get taken. Like it's the way to do it. A cop, a pop. Oops, a cop and pop or a pop and cop muscles. Tell us your background story. So, excuse me. I did law enforcement for a long, long time. Long, long time. So I had jobs growing up. Like I started working. I think it was like fifth grade when, yeah, it was like fifth or sixth grade. They come and they get you to start doing field work where I live. So you go detassel corn. And then by the time you're in high school, if you're strong enough, you'll start baling hay. So I did that. I worked like fast food. I did all sorts of stuff like that. But then I went in the military, and when I went in the military, I went Navy, and I was master at arms, so military police for the Navy. And then when I got out, I did security at nightclubs. Did that for 4 or 5 years. I was in college, get my degree along with some other jobs. Then I did federal police for a number of years, different jobs in federal police. I don't really talk about that too much. Uh, but yeah, I did it for a long time, man. It was good. It was great when I was younger. I liked the action. I liked I liked it, but I didn't like the stuff I did towards the end. It was weighing on me mentally, and then also like when you do it long enough, you realize you're just a band-aid on a problem for a system that doesn't work. Like the whole justice system is, if you really think about it, it's stupid. It's super stupid. All the laws are written for a time before equal rights between men and women. The laws are not fair. I would see people falsely report other people all the time and get no trouble, even though like 18 USC 1001 is false official statement. And it's basically when you file false police report on somebody, it's supposed to be a felony punishable by up to 3 years in prison. Yet I would get these chicks who come in and send this stuff by dudes, and I download their phones, and I'd go through their records, and I could see very obviously they were lying. I had all the proof they were lying. And it wasn't just me. It was like every other person I talked to was like, the prosecutors would never take it because the news would grab a hold of it and say, oh, you're victimizing the victim, and blah, blah, blah. Whereas, like, they're literally wasting billions and billions in tax dollars and all these officers and agents' time that could be spent, like, getting white-collar criminals and super bad dudes for silly nonsense that they'll never get in trouble for, even though they lie. So I could go on and on about it, but I won't. Maybe I'll do a video about my past one day. But I'm here now, and that's the important thing. I've done a couple things since I did law enforcement. Like I said, I did security for a long time. I worked in a telemarketer place for a little bit. I worked with children in a psychiatric hospital, kids that were a danger to themselves or others. Kind of try to teach them the mechanisms and the skills they needed in order to like function as humans in this world, and give them those skills and like try to teach them. Some took it, some really did great. Others, they went back right to their old ways. But I've done a lot of things. This is my favorite by far. It's just being a perpetual traveler and roaming the earth. Filipina Life with Jenna Lynn says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Good night, Nate and everyone. Good night, Jenna Lynn. And yes, please hit the thumbs up if that helps. This is my first live stream, so I don't know how much of an effect that has. And I don't even really know how to see it, but I definitely appreciate it. And so go back to Iloilo, right? Talked a lot about the good, talked about some of the bad, and then there's the ugly. There's really not a lot of ugly here for me. right? The women are beautiful. The weather's nice. It gets a little hot in between like 12 and 4. You can't really walk around without sweating your butt off. It's a great time to go work out. It's a great time to go to the pool. But if you got stuff to do, like everyone just takes naps, it looks like. And I was out last night. Apparently, they stay out partying until like 4 or 5 a.m. Yeah, 4 or 5 a.m. Wow. I think it's because they nap in the middle of the day, like kind of like when I was in Greece or Mexico. They do their little midday nap. But some of the sanitary stuff isn't here too. A lot of the places you go throughout Southeast Asia, the sanitary just isn't there. I was out the other night and I was eating chicken, and I ate this chicken and I was drinking my drink and I was ready to move on, but I wanted to wash my hands because you a lot of times you eat with your hands here. And they said they didn't have a sink for customers, so they led me to the kitchen. They went to the kitchen. The kitchen did not look clean. They asked me to wash my hands in the sink, in the kitchen sink. And I said, all right, where's your hand soap? Now, keep in mind, this is where the cooks wash their hands. This is where the waiter and the waitress is supposed to wash their hands. They didn't have hand soap. So they've been cooking in there for how many years without having any hand soap? That was a little off-putting. That's a little ugly. But that's going to be a lot of places. You got to think, the people that are making 450 pesos a day, that's like $8, right? That's the minimum wage of what a lot of people make here in Iloilo. You go to Dumaguete, you go to some of the smaller villages, it might be less, right? But here in Dumaguete, for the cooks, the waiters, the telemarketing people, they're making 450 pesos, $8 a day. What's it going to cost for them to buy a bottle of hand soap? $2, $3, $4? So what? You're going to tell me a company that's only willing to pay a person $8 a day is going to buy $4 worth of hand soap every 3 to 4 days? Or are you telling me the employee is going to spend half their wage on hand soap? No. So you do see a lot of that. Like that goes along with them cleaning surfaces too. They'll water down the bleach and the ammonia so much that it's no longer valid in cleaning off surfaces because the chemicals to clean are more expensive and they don't make as much. So it's a loss, right? Now, granted, we're overboard in the West as far as cleaning, but I would love them to see the step up the game here. But the area I'm at now, people tip, right? Tipping is a little bit normal in the area I'm at now. Everything is more expensive, but you will see the staff washing their hands. You'll see what they use to clean. Like it's that Western standard we're talking about. The Western standard isn't just nice hotel sheets. It's not just good quality beef. It's not just hello, sir, which I mean, you'll get that everywhere. It's everything, even the cleanliness, right? Even the cleanliness is important, and that's kind of some of the ugly to it. Is there's still a lack of cleanliness, even though it's a very clean city. There's still aspects that aren't very clean, And if you go to a bathroom, I don't know if you guys. I used to bounce at nightclubs and dance clubs. I don't know if you guys have ever went in there. A lot of people that watch me are all dudes. Have you ever watched and seen how many dudes don't wash their hands even after they number two? It's a lot. A lot of dudes don't wash their hands even after they number two. It's freaking gross, bros. Bros, wash your hands. Just do it. And I hate to see it, bro. Even in my travel, I'm not seeing them wash their hands, dude. And here in Asia, they use like a hand towel, and everyone uses the same hand towel, but I digress. Regular guy, yo, what up, man? Happy to see you, bro. It's my first live stream ever. Thanks for joining. Regular guy says, do you have any desire to buy a scooter? I do, man. So I was looking at a way I could get a driver's license because my U.S. driver's license expired. And they got this rule here where you got to have 6 months left on your visa in order to get a driver's license here in the Philippines. So I don't think I'd really be able to do that unless I found the right guys. And I might have found the right guys, but I'll probably just go ahead and get a driver's license when I'm in Thailand again. here in December. But I'm really torn in the scooter. And Scotty, bro, I've never met anybody who's driven a scooter who hasn't had an accident. Every single Asian person has a scar from a motorbike accident. Every single one, bro. And every foreigner I met that's driven them for any length of time has fallen over and messed themselves up. So it's like, yeah, I want the scooter for the mobility. For sure, for sure. I want the scooter for the mobility, and I want to be able to get around and be on my own schedule and not have to rely on anybody else for transportation. But on the same note, I know for a fact that it's going to lead to an accident. For a fact. And granted, I'll wear my helmet, but wearing all that stuff, I'm going to be sweating. I'm a hefty fella. And I'm going to be sweating through all that gear I'm wearing to be on a bike. So do I have a desire to buy a scooter? Yes, for sure. But I'm not looking forward to the accident. I'm having a problem a little bit with the bureaucracy. Collector's Dream says, can't wait for your future videos. Yeah, bro. I think you're going to like it, bro. If you're looking for information about dating, like I said, I've been filming some stuff here and there. I don't want to show a lot of the girls' faces. I want to be respectful. I want to, do right by the people. But it's definitely been interesting dating. It's definitely been interesting for sure. And there's been some interesting aspects that I definitely can share. Regular guy says, do you have a favorite coffee shop in Iloilo? This is kind of where we vary, Scotty. I know you love the coffee shops. I don't really do them, right? I'm a restaurant guy. I go out to restaurants mostly. But right next to my house, within a football field away, they've got Starbucks. They've got Coffee Bean. They've got like 2 other coffee shops in the same building as my condo. There's 2 different places where I can get frappes. Sometimes I'll do the frappes, the blended ice drinks with the coffee and usually caramel. Paying one place is 200 pesos. The place inside my house or inside my condo building is 150. That's like its own legit coffee shop. Internet sucks there, so I don't go there. Then you've got U Frappe, which is another. There's tons of coffee places around here for sure, but I'd probably say that Coffee Bean was tight. They had like a little area where I could hook up my laptop and work on my laptop while I had my little frappe. The internet was pretty solid. But as far as favorite coffee shops, no, I don't really hit up coffee shops like that. Regular guy, do you want to start making food at home? Hell no, Scotty. I haven't cooked for myself in over a year and a half. I'm getting close to 2 years now where I've not cooked for myself one time. Now I do. My maid, she comes over a couple times a week, cleans up the condo, and she'll make me my eggs. I have her usually make me like eggs and mushrooms and ham, all scrambled together for breakfast. Because I wake up late. Usually she comes maybe an hour or two after I get up. I shower, brush my teeth, run an errand or two like laundry or whatever. Then she'll be over. I have her cook for me. Usually when she's over, she'll cook for me 1 or 2 times. But I've got zero desire to start making my own food at home. Like, I don't like it. I bought steaks over there at SNR, that Costco clone. And I was really disappointed. Like, for the quality and the amount of meat, it was way more expensive than I can just go down here, get the same exact quantity, higher quality. And they cook it all up for me in a restaurant here by my house. But yeah, no, man, I got no desire to start making food at home. None at all. Yeah, maybe that'll change here in a year or two, but I severely doubt it. I've always been this way. Even when I cooked at home, I'd buy the big Costco platters and I'd throw them in the oven and heat them up. And that was my idea of cooking. I don't want to be chopping up. And I always felt like it was such a waste for me. Like, I'm a single guy eating, right? So what? I'm going to go to all this effort to get all these ingredients, chop it all up, cook it, dirty a bunch of dishes, dirty pans, and then eat for 5-10 minutes, maybe pack 2 or 3 meals of the same thing away, and then clean it. Like, it's just too much effort. I'd rather just go out to a restaurant, especially here when I'm spending to go out to restaurants 2-3 times a day. $20 a day. If I go eat cheap, do it for $10 a day. So no cooking at home. Regular guy says, you've been in Iloilo for a while now. Yeah, bro. 2 months. I really, really like it. I really, really like it. At the beginning of the video, I was kind of talking about some of the good things, the bad things, and the ugly things here in Iloilo. As far as I'm concerned, for the kind of life I want to live, this has been my favorite place in the Philippines. Now, granted, I've only been to 5, 6 places, and there's easily another 20 or 30 I want to go to. 2024 hits. I want to be back here for sure. I'm only going to go away to Bali and Thailand for a little bit. Then I'm coming back. I'm going to hit up a bunch more cities. I'm going to hit a bunch more places up. Then who knows? Maybe I'll go off to Malaysia. I know during the summer, if my brother's here, I'm going to Japan with him. I will be going to South Korea to go check out those video game tournaments that, I'm a nerd for. And then at some point, I want to go to the Baltics, Estonia. Man, I can't even think of now. It's teamed up, but I want to hit up like the Baltic states or Baltic countries during the summer too. Then I'll probably just come right back to the Philippines. But yeah, I've been in Iloilo for a while, man. I like it. I like it a lot. It's more expensive than everywhere else I've been in the Philippines, but the quality of life's a lot higher too. Regular guy, have you visited Guimaras? Yeah, bro. I put up a couple shorts on it, or maybe I put up one and I got a couple more scheduled to come out. But it was super cool. Me, my buddy Kevin, and another buddy of ours, and then Jenna Lynn. We all went out there. We hit up a little spot. Super nice. I'm going with Vanessa there here in a couple weeks again. And then I will definitely go there another, 2 or 3 times before December 15th. And I plan to move to Thailand for a couple months. But yeah, definitely plan on going back. Actually, there was a ton of cool places along the coast that I saw in between, like San Joaquin and Iloilo on the map. If you follow the coastline, there's a bunch of cool little cities all along there where I don't think foreigners ever go. And then San Joaquin had kind of like more of the snorkeling, like pebble beaches vibe to it. So it was pretty cool, that whole area. But I want to go out to more nature stuff here because I realize like I'm kind of missing out there being in the city life. And I've been focusing a lot on work, on the YouTube stuff, on the gym. I need to focus more on that. But I want to start getting more outside the city for sure. Regular guy says, did you try mango pizza? Bro, I was so sad. So I kept saying to my buddies, like, hey, let's go get mangoes. It's the Philippines' most delicious mangoes. But they're not mango people. So we kind of made a joke of it, of like how I'm habitually talking about how much I want these mangoes. But I guarantee you, when I go with Vanessa next week, or the weekend, next week, week after next, next week, we're gonna get mangoes. I guarantee it, bro. Because I've been wanting to try those mangoes. I don't know about the mango pizza. I'll probably try it, but I just want to try these mangoes. Pardon me. That they are so famous for. I'm really excited. Like I say, when you made them look good in your video, dude, for sure, you made them look good. All right, so my first ever live stream. Looks like we're back to 6 people, but about to call it a night, guys. It's 1:30 a.m. here, and I kind of want to check out a couple things on the internet before I call it a night. Thank you so much for joining me for my inaugural live stream, my first ever, and hopefully I'll be doing more, maybe once a month or something like that. If you guys like it, let me know. Put a comment in when I publish it, or like it, or do whatever you're supposed to do, or you can do. And hopefully I gave you guys some good information about Iloilo and you liked it. A couple last comments here. Regular guy, please film your mango time with Vanessa. For sure, Scotty. I want that first bite of that succulent, delicious mango to be filmed and recorded for all of history's posterity. If it's that good, it must be filmed and shown to the world. Steve Morris says, great job, Nate. Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate you joining in on the live stream, man. I was a little nervous being my first. So hopefully everything went great. Regular guy says adios. Adios. Thank you so much for joining me. I got a video dropping on Tuesday. I think you guys will like that. It's about Iloilo City proper, an area I haven't really seen anybody talk about on YouTube. And hopefully you guys dig it, man. I think I'm getting a little bit better with every video. But I digress. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thank you again.